One of the stars of the holiday table are mashed potatoes, so it's really important that you get it right. It seems like it would be a really straightforward technique, but there's a lot of science behind making the perfect fluffy mashed potatoes. The first step and most important thing to me is to choose the right kind of potatoes. I like to get russet potatoes. They're called mealy potatoes because once they're cooked, the texture is really light and flaky and it has a mealy texture. Also, it's a very high in starch potato, so it's going to absorb any milk or moisture up really nicely so the puree stays light and fluffy. But the thing is, you need to control the amount of starch in the potato. So to start, what we're gonna do is, first you of course peel the potatoes and then you cut them into large 1-inch cubes. So I've done that already here. And then what's different in this technique is to control the amount of starch after it's been cut, we're going to rinse the potatoes. Now that the potatoes are rinsed, you cook the potatoes in boiling hot water. For about 2 pounds of potatoes, I like to have 8 cups of water, and I season the water with 1 teaspoon of salt. The potatoes are going to cook for about 15 minutes until they're fork tender. Now we're going to check if the potatoes are ready. Right, yep, it's nice and fork tender. The cooking process is going to release more starches that have cooked and swelled, so we're going to want to drain the potatoes and rinse it one more time for about 30 seconds under hot water to just remove any excess starches on the surface of the potatoes. So once you've rinsed and drained the potatoes really well, we're going to start mashing them. So instead of using a potato masher, I'm going to use a fine mesh sieve, and that's a gentler process for breaking down the potatoes, as well as it separates the particles so they're not dense and heavy once you add the butter and the cream. So just lightly press the potatoes through the strainer until they've all gone through. As you can see, the potatoes are nice and separated. The next step is to add butter that's been softened at room temperature. The reason why you want to add the butter first before you add the milk is because it's going to coat the starch granules in the potatoes, preventing the starches from becoming gluey and sticky together so that the potatoes stay light and airy. So just fold that in to the potatoes until they're fully incorporated and melted. Now that the potatoes are super creamy and smooth, you're going to want to add whole milk that's been heated to about 120 degrees or about 40 seconds in the microwave. And you're going to add some salt to season the potatoes. Just whisk that in. And the warm milk helps the salt dissolve, as well as it keeps the potatoes warm, and it also helps the starches bind a little bit more when you're folding them in. The thing is though, you don't want to dump the milk straight into the potatoes because it's just going to get really gooey, so you want to slowly allow the starches in the potatoes to absorb the milk. So I do about 3 additions and just gently fold the milk in. Now that you know how to make light, fluffy, and creamy mashed potatoes, you can make them any day during the week or take them to a party and enjoy.